Hello, my name's Alison Escobar. That's the 30th of January 2024, and I am answering some questions about my art. What is my background? I find that a complicated question. I've grown up in Scotland, around Glasgow. I did a lot of art and craft and design graphics at school, very arty. Ultimately took a different path for my degree subject, then a different path again for my main work. But art has always been a part of my life. I struggled to use paint and pencils and to do art out of, I don't want to say out of nowhere. I struggled getting my art, getting my inspiration from a blank canvas, and um, I yeah. I think I'm quite an imaginative person. I've always tried lots of different mediums, but I'd never find my medium. And I was quite a solitary child. I did a lot of reading by myself, um, and quite imaginative. And I had this great pull towards art, but I couldn't quite find the medium that fit for me. But I did keep experimenting and creating. I sorry, I'm not very good at recording things. So yes, I experimented with acrylics. I did pottery. I did woodworking. I still love woodworking, although I don't have a chance to do it very often. And I discovered collage when I was a teenager. I did magazine collages, and I found having something to start from was really helpful. I found it gave me an inspiration I didn't have otherwise. And as I got older, the path that led me to where I am now is I'm not sure how much to go into it. When the pandemic began and I had a toddler and a baby, I got into baby wrapping in woven baby wraps, which is basically beautiful woven fabric in different colourful designs. It's also used for crafting and accessories. It's like any form of crafting that creates waste. It creates high quality, colourful scraps of fabric, which I love to put together as a collage. And I love this idea of this beautiful fabric being preserved, because a lot of the time these baby wraps, there's only 50 metres, 100 metres, 200 metres made, and that's it. And that blend and pattern, that's all that exists of it. And I love the idea of even little bits of it being preserved, and the idea of I don't know, the fabric that binds the mother and child together being used in my art. So I discovered this, and this led me into the art I'm doing just now. Sorry, I am going a bit off script here. Who's my biggest influence? I've always been a very solitary person when it comes to creativity. I've always pulled from lots of different sources, and I would say artistically wise, I love impressionist and expressionist sort of art influences. I know it's a bit of a cliche, but I like Van Gogh and I like Monet, and I love the fact that you don't need to have perfect detail to portray a feeling about a picture. It doesn't have to be perfectly straight. It just has to get the message across in the way that speaks to you. And for me, with the fabric, it works in several levels. And I also love the colours. Colour is such a huge thing for me. It really is so visually stimulating, and it means a lot. And I love their artwork. So yeah, So I basically took all these colourful bits of fabric and put them together into pictures, but I felt that on their own the fabric somehow needed lifted out. So I started adding reflective beads and gems and a little bit more of the mixed media in there to try and lift the patterns and colours out of the picture, and I really enjoyed the effect of that. At the moment, I'm focusing on improving my composition and skills and developing it. I've not really found anybody who seems to do my exact medium in my form that really aligns with it. I find it's difficult to connect with people who do what I do because I feel like mixed media is such a broad ranging thing. And so I really am sort of working by myself, but that kind of suits me. Yeah, what's my biggest challenge of being an artist? Life is the biggest challenge. Really, I have two small children under the age of 6. I work part-time in a non-art job, and although art is one of my biggest focus and passions, I just struggle to get the creative flow going and to have the energy levels to actually do it, which really hurts. I'm also diagnosed as autistic and having ADHD, and that adds another layer of complexity. Although I think it's part of the source of my creativity, it also makes it difficult to manage my energy and time and focus to do it. But when I get my artistic flow going, I really, really connect with it. What advice would I give to my younger self? I don't know. I look back and there's probably several small things I'd give myself advice about, but the main thing is don't be so hard on yourself and don't worry about things that are outside your control. Take care of yourself. But I don't know if my younger self would listen, but that's probably what I needed to hear. Have you ever tried any unconventional mediums or techniques? Well, I'd say my medium's reasonably unconventional. I've not met many people who do glued woven fabric scraps on canvas with beadswork. Part of the reason I tried this unconventional medium or technique is because, apart from wanting to try zero waste, apart from being attracted to the fabric and loving it, was the fact I was really jealous of people who did embroidery and craft work, but I just didn't have the patience to do needle and thread. And I felt like with gluing, I could really portray it better. I could really say what I wanted to say because I could get it down on the canvas better than if I tried to do it with needle and thread or embroidery. And I think it does work. Do I listen to music? Do I listen to music or background noise? I sometimes listen to music. I sometimes listen to the same song on repeat for 4 hours. I sometimes need absolute silence, and sometimes I just can't concentrate at all. I sometimes use noise-cancelling headphones. Sometimes I have headphones plugged in but not on my head, just for a very tiny background noise. I just try and tune in to how I'm feeling that day. What's the best reaction someone's had to your art? I had the privilege of using scraps of a mother who was also into baby wrapping and woven fabric, and she unfortunately passed away. Her family and friends sent me a bag of scraps, and I was able to put together some pictures from the scraps for her children, because otherwise it would just be a bag of rubbish, really, a bag of leftover fabric. And I was able to make those into pictures and send them to her family, and it was just really nice to know that they had a little memento. It wasn't paid or sold. I just did it because it felt important to do it, and I really, knowing that made a difference to somebody, I think that's the one thing I would hope for my artwork, is that if it brings joy to somebody when they see it, if they really enjoy looking at it and engage with it, that's more important for me than having a career, because that's what it is to me. It's important. It's my way of processing things, and the process of making is very therapeutic for me, but it also, when it exists, I have them all lined up in my living room and it really lifts my mood. And if it does the same for other people, then I know I'm doing something right. Um, and yeah, so that's what I really would hope people take away from it. It's not everybody's taste. I mean, like, I look at it and I see it might look quite amateurish, it might look quite raw. Um, I don't know what people see when they look at it, but to me, it speaks to me, and I figure that's the important thing. You do the art for yourself, and it's a blessing if somebody else sees it and appreciates it. And yeah, I guess that's my take on it. So thanks very much.